Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and this morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Oxford University Press. It's a book that many of you in the financial sector of law will know about. It's called Gleeson on the International Regulation of Banking. It's now in a third edition, and as I say, Oxford University Press have taken this under their wing and produced what I think is a first-class book in this area of law. Elizabeth and I talked about the book, and for our review we've given it this title: a brilliant explanation on a difficult banking topic, beginning at a time of massive financial turbulence for Europe and the world as we see what happens post-Brexit. Let's have a look at the book first. Here it is, a hardback. There we go. There's the front, there's the spine. There's nothing on the back at all. Now, on the back, we've got the index as usual. I'll just get to it. You can see the indexes by paragraph numbering there, and it's very much the house style for, of course, OUP. And we'll just show you the beginning of the index here, which just starts there. Now, if we go to the front of the book, we've then got, that's the main first page there, and then there's a dedication. I always like to show the dedication. A lot of work goes into the preparation of this text, so it's important to know who people have dedicated the work to. The preface is well worth reading also, which gives you an idea from Simon Gleeson as to what he's talking about in the book. Then there's the Basel or Bâle Accords. I call them Bâle, but I think they call them Basel or Basel Accords. It's a note on terminology which is quite helpful, I think, right at the beginning. Then you have a summary of the contents section, and then a rather more detailed section. There are 27 chapters in total, and actually 7 different sections, and there's the detailed contents section after that. And then you've got a very, very helpful list of abbreviations, always useful in this area of law. Then you have the various parts. Now, what you have got here is a very useful little index of what's actually in the chapter, and you can see how it's structured. The paragraph numbering is down the sides, and then there are obviously a lot of footnotes, and you can see the mini index for the chapter, and that's how it runs all the way through. And it runs to something approaching 500 pages. So what do we say in this short review? Well, this, for those of you who don't know, Simon Gleeson is a visiting fellow of All Souls College, Oxford. He describes here a topic that he calls the financial capital regulation, which derives almost every aspect of our financial markets in a free society. And this is the quote: "From the structures of financial groups and the way they raise capital to the development of investment structures and financial engineering such as derivatives, securitizations, structured finance, credit derivatives, repos and stock lending." And that's the basic main aim of the book. And of course, in chapter 1 it sets out the aim of the work. And what's so refreshing, I think, is that Gleeson does so only in a way and at a level that one would expect from an Oxford Don, addressing both the academic and the practitioner communities, following the standard house style, which we are so familiar with the OUP publications. And it's with great thanks that we welcome this new third edition of the leading guide on the structure of bank financial regulation, because it's invaluable for lawyers and other non-statisticians interested in the regulatory drivers which shape modern financial transactions and techniques. And again, that's lifted directly from what his basic purpose is with this book. And what we have here for 2018 are the legal and regulatory principles which underlie the regulations, and they're articulated here in a structured and accessible format without formulae. And I think that's, again, a helpful positive for the book. And readers will know, of course, that since the publication of the second edition, the final form of the Basel III International Regulatory Framework for Banks has been agreed, and a new edition covers both Basel III and references the first tranche of rule books and the secondary legislation to ensue as a result. And of course, it is very much, as I'm sure you all know, about regulation. And the new edition, of course, also covers the new formal banking resolution and recovery regime, which came into force in November 2016, and that requires United Kingdom banks, building societies and large investment firms to demonstrate minimum requirements for eligible liabilities and their own funds. It's another key focus of the new edition, which covers also banks' structural reform. And as Gleeson says, and this is, I think, an interesting observation, whilst the implementation of the EU initiative stalled and was ultimately withdrawn, the UK has already implemented its own version, which has had and will continue to have a significant impact on banking regulation. So as practitioners, let me conclude by saying this: we've got no crystal balls about even the immediate outcome of current banking policy and future regulatory matters, whatever they may be. But I think we're very thankful for the new Gleeson edition, for his insight, intellect and help in what is a difficult area of specialist financial law. So thank you very much for keeping us up to date with this area, the specialist area, of course, for global financial law. The book was published on the 23rd of October 2018, and I think, although it doesn't actually say it, the law would be as represented effectively by what is in the preface right at the beginning of about March 2018. It doesn't actually say when the law is covered up to, but I think we're certainly talking about the earlier part of 2018. Let's just look at the book again. As I say, you can see it's a green cover, hardback. You can just see opening it up in the middle. This is model-based approaches to risk weighting. There we go. You can see the structure again, paragraph numbers at the side and the footnotes. But actually not too many. What I liked, actually, there weren't, again, you see, not too many footnotes, which is actually bit of a boon, I think, for some. Anyway, thank you very much to Simon Gleeson and OUP for publishing this work at an interesting time for us internationally. And as I've said before, very grateful to OUP for taking it under their wing. Thank you to all. Bye-bye.